Firsties. I'm so glad you could be here with me today. Missed you a lot. Before we get started with our math lesson today, I want to do a correction for the video that I posted about EE and EA. When I posted that video, I told you that words that have the EA in them would never end with an EA, that it would be in the middle or the beginning, but that is incorrect because there are a few words that have EA at the end of the word, like the word tea. Like I like to drink sweet tea. You can see the EA is at the end of the word. Or the word flea. Like my dog has a flea. That's at the end of the word. So there are a few words that have this sound at the end. So that is my bad. So I'm sorry for telling you that, but there are a few more. But we're going to go on with our math today. So I'm going to flip this over. And we're going to get started. You're going to need something to write on and something to write with, like a paper and a pencil or a whiteboard and markers, something for you to do some math on. So I want you to pause the video here and go get some of that stuff. Okay, now that you're back, we're going to do a number talk. And I know you are familiar with number talk. So we're going to do a number talk just like we do at school, except I'm not going to be able to hear you. So I want you to be doing your number talk in your head as I'm writing the equation on the board. So our first equation for our number talk today is this equation. All right, boys and girls, let's read this together. Ready? 24 plus 30 equals, we don't know. Okay, I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to think about what is the sum of this equation. Okay, I hope you're back and you figured out what the sum of this equation is. So let's talk a little bit about what you think the answer is. And then we're going to show a few ways that you might have solved it. Okay, so 24 plus 30 equals, we don't know. How many of you got the answer 54? Did you get the answer 54? If you did, great job. There are a few ways that you could have solved this. Let's look at a few of them and see if you can find the way that you solved it on here. So one way you might have solved it is you might have looked at this number 24 and you might have said, you know what? That 2 there is not really a 2. It's a 20. And this is not really just a 3. It's a 30. And we know that 20 plus 30 is 50. And then I can look here and see there's some leftovers here. There's some 1s and there's not any 1s here. So I can just take this 50 plus the 4 1s, and that equals 54. Is that the way you solve this problem? Give me a me too if you solve this problem this way. Okay, there's another way you might have solved this problem. Similar, but you might have thought about it a little different. You might have been thinking more on a number line. So if you were thinking on a number line, you might have started at 24. And you said, okay, I've got to go 3 more 10s. Okay, so if I take 24 and I jump 10 more, where's that going to land us on? That's right, it's going to land us on 34. Then if I jump another 10, 34 and another 10, that's right, it's going to land us on 44. And then another 10 will land us at 54. So you could count it like that. 24, 34, 44, and 54. Give me a me too if you did that equation that way. All right, and some of you might have used your paper to draw. And if you used your paper to draw, it might have looked like this. You could have drawn your 24. So I'm going to draw my 2 10s. $20 and 4. So there's 24 circles. And then my 30. I need to do is remember when we're adding numbers like this, 10s go with 10s and 1s go with 1s. So I'm going to put these 10s together. So that'll be 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And then we have 4 left over, and so I know it is 54. Me too if you did it that way. There might have been another way that you solved the problem, and that's okay. As long as you figured out that the answer was 54. All right, let's try another one. Let me get this all erased. Okay, I'm going to put this, the equation that we just did, up here in this corner so that you might want to use it on this to help you with this next equation. So we just did 24 plus 30 equals 54. Okay, so I'll just leave that right there. We're going to do another equation. Here's our next one. Ready? Okay, I want you to pause the video here, and I want you to work well, let's read it first before you pause the video. Let's read it. Ready? 24 plus 40 equals, we don't know. Pause the video here and see if you can work out this problem. Okay, I hope you've worked out the problem. So let's look at it. Let's say our equation was 24 plus 40 equals, we don't know. I want you to give me a me too if you got the answer 64. Yeah, good job if you got 64. Let's go over a few ways you might have gotten 64. So one of the ways might have been the strategy we did last time. We could see that this 24 has a 20. And the 40 is just a 40. And we know that 20 and 40 make 60. And then I can see that I have 4 leftovers. So 60 and 4 is 64. Give me a me too if that's your strategy. The other strategy that we could use would have been our number line. Hope I have enough room for this number line. Let's see. So we get started at 24, and how many 10s are we going to have to jump here? That's right, we're going to jump 4 10s. Okay, so if I jump 1 10, 24 and 10 more is what? That's right, 34. And then another 10, 34, 10 more, 44. 10 more, that's right, 54. And the last 10 gets us to 64. So you can count by 10s. 34, 44, 54, 64. You might have done it that way. Give me a me too if you thought of it that way. Some of you might have used our equation from up here. How many of you used this equation to help you with this equation? So this equation was 24 plus 30 equals 54. Okay, what do you notice about these equations? That's right, they both have the 24. What do you notice about the 40 and the 30? That's right, there's just 10 difference. If I wanted to turn this 30 into this 40, I would have to add 10. And if I add 10, it's going to change it to the 40. But we all know that this equal sign means same. So whatever I do on this side of the equal sign, I've got to do it over here. So if I add 10 here, I've got to add 10 here. And 54 and 10 more gets us to 64. Give me a me too if that's the way you solve this problem. Great job. All right, so let me erase and let's do another one. I'm going to put this one also up here in the corner in case you need to use it for our next one. So we just did 24 plus 40 equals 64. Okay, all right, here's our last equation for our number talk today. Here it is. All right, let's read it together. Ready? 44 plus 20 equals, we don't know. All right, I want you to pause the video. I want you to work on solving this equation. Okay, welcome back. I hope that you guys have solved this equation. Okay, I want you to give me a me too if you got the answer 64. Did you get that answer 64? Great job if you did. All right, so let's look at some ways you might have solved this equation. You might have used the first strategy we've been talking about. If I look here, I can see a 40. And if I look here, I can see a 20. And 40 and 20 is 60. And then don't forget about these leftovers. 60 plus 4 is 64. Give me too if you use that strategy. Good. Another strategy you might have used, you might have counted on by tens, like we were talking about on our number line. You might have started at the 44. How many tens are we going to have to jump? That's right, we're going to have to jump 2 tens. So 44 and 10 more gets us to 54. And then 10 more gets us to 64. So we jumped 20 places. And this shows me that I put that 10 there so we would know that I wasn't just jumping one place, I was jumping 10 whole places. So 44, 54, and 64. Another way you might have solved it is you might have looked at this equation. Let's look at these two equations and how they are similar. Look at these two equations. Here's 20 and 40. Here's 20 and 40. All I did was I took the tens and switched the tens out. And if I just switch the tens out, the sum is going to be the same. Me too if you saw that when you were looking at this. Very good. All right. So that is it for our number talk. We're going to move on to a math story. Okay, so before we start this math story, if you need to get some more paper, there's another thing you might need to get is, I know we usually use our cubes when we are doing our math story, and you probably do not have cubes at your house, but you can find something small that will help you count. Something like paper clips or marbles or pebbles, rocks outside, rubber bands, if you have any Lego blocks, anything that will help you to count and show what's happening in our math story. Okay, so if you need to pause the video to go gather some materials, go ahead and do that, and we'll come right back. Okay, welcome back. So now I'm going to read to you our math story today, and then I'm going to let you try to solve it, and then we're going to look at it together. So here is our math story today. Let's read what it says. Remington had 13 brownies. He gave Aiden some, and now he has 4 brownies left. How many brownies did he give Aiden? I'm going to read that one more time. You ready? Why don't you read it with me? Remington had 13 brownies. He gave Aiden some, and now he has 4 brownies left. How many brownies did he give Aiden? So let's talk about this before you go jump right in and start solving. Let's think about what's happening. How many brownies does Remington have altogether? That's right, he has 13 brownies. He doesn't have any more than 13 brownies. That's all that he has. Okay, and what does he do? That's right, he gives Aiden some. Do we know how many he gives Aiden? No, it just says he gives him some. So we know he had 13, and part of that 13 he gave to Aiden. And we know that he only has 4 left. So out of that 13, some of them are Aiden's, and 4 of them Remy gets to keep. We want to know how many did he give to Aiden? Okay, so that's your question. How many did he give to Aiden? One more time, I'm going to read it, and then I'll let you solve. Remington had 13 brownies. He gave Aiden some, and now he has 4 brownies left. How many brownies did he give Aiden? Pause the video here, and I want you to solve this problem. Welcome back. I hope you solved our problem. We're going to work through and look at some ways that you could have solved this problem, okay? And remember, when we're drawing for our math stories, we usually use circles or squares because math drawings need to be quick, easy, something to help us count, okay? So I want to show you some strategies that you might have used to solve this problem and see if you used one of these strategies, okay? One strategy is, I can see that Aiden has 13 brownies, so I can draw 13 brownies, and I'm going to draw squares for my brownies. little more information, I can put my numbers inside. Alright, so there's the 13 brownies that Aiden had. So he gave some of these to, this is what Remy has. He gave some of them to Aiden, and he's got 4 left. Okay, so I can see right here, here are the 4 that he has left. 1, 2, 3, 4. This group is what he has left that are his. And I can label those, that he has those left. That means these down here are the part he gave to Aiden. He gave those to Aiden. So let's count and see how many that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He gave 9 to Aiden. Did you get that for your answer? Give me a me too if you got that he had. He gave 9 to Aiden. And so what I did is I just took off the part that I knew that Remy still had, and that left me with what he had to give Aiden. And so my picture needs to match my equation, or my equation needs to match my picture. So I started drawing with my 13, so my equation is going to start with the 13. The next thing I did was I took away 4. And the last thing I did is I noticed that the difference was 9. And I want to circle that 9 because that shows me that's the answer. That's how many he gave Aiden. Now, there's another way we could solve this problem. I'm going to use a different color. Hopefully my black will work here, or brown. The other way you could have thought about this is you could have started with the 4. You could have said, okay, well, he has 4 brownies left. Okay. Okay, and that's how many he has left. And then you said, well, I'm going to count on from that 4 until I get to 13, and then that will tell me how many Aiden has. So you could have counted on 4, and then you could count it on here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, that's already. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. All right, and so I know this is what he gave to Aiden. Okay, and I can count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did we get the same answer? Yes, it was still 9. But in this way, instead of taking something away, we started at the smaller number and we counted on until we got to the larger number. So my equation is going to look different. I started with 4, and I added 9 more, and that gives me 13. But my question was, how many did he give Aiden? And the answer is still 9. My answer is just not at the end. It's here in the middle. So I would circle it here, and that would tell me that it was 9. You could even write down here, 9 brownies. Now, this is not the only way you might have done it. You might have used a number line. You might have used your fingers and counted up or counted down in your head, and those are fine ways too. Just make sure if you're counting up or counting down in your head that you show me what you did with some kind of a picture. You could use a number line or something like that to show me if you might have went 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, if you counted it that way, or if you counted it down, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, that way. You can show that with a number line. So there's 2 ways that you can solve this problem. How did you solve the problem? I'm sure you did a great job. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, I miss you, I love you, and I hope to see you back on our next video.